things on camera?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well,
Not like scratch my butt kind of things, but
yeah, you're not going to have to do very weird things on camera today, okay? All right, and so loud and clear, give me a testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3. I'm Anne, and I teach ballet here at Legacy Dance Center. I came here to Ohio in 2001 with my 5 children and my husband, and it took me about a year to find a dance studio, or to at least feel like I had my life together enough to be able to do that. It's something that I wanted to pass on to my children. And I walked in here in 2002 with my brood, minus the one who was playing soccer, and met Wendy and signed them up. It was years later that I actually started teaching. Wendy was offering an adult ballet class or adult dance class. I think it was jazz. And as we're going off the floor, I guess she noticed my ability to really point my feet and stretch my legs long and maintain my upper body. And then she asked me about my dance background, and I started teaching. I started dance when I was about 6 in New York, and it was something my brothers didn't have. It was the only thing I had. And then we moved, and there was no dance, so I had nothing. And then a teacher kind of came into the area. And again, by then I was like the only person who had actually danced before, so I was way better than everybody else. And then we moved to Florida, and I was way worse than everybody else, and I was at the bottom. And it's then that I decided that this is worth it. This is just what I want to do. I started teaching as a student teacher probably about the age of 12. And I did it because I was asked to, and it helped pay for my tuition. And I was actually paying my own tuition. And the same thing, when I moved to Florida, I had to like babysit, and it was like really hard to have enough money to dance. And so part of it was teaching. So it wasn't like I really chose it. I think I wanted to be a professional. But at the same time, we were told, a lot of you are not going to be professionals. You're going to teach. And I think it came when I met Gretchen Warren at University of South Florida. And she had me be the demonstrator for a class for high school students to make them like very proficient dancers when they came to the university to be in the dance program. And I loved her teaching method. I loved how polite and respectful she was to all the students, which was not like universal at all at that time. And I loved how she taught each step at a time so that you got it perfectly before anything was added. Being a dance teacher lets me influence generations. You build a relationship with a whole bunch of people that you never would. So with that comes a big responsibility, that you leave each person feeling better about themselves than they did when they came in, but at the same time, learning as much as they can so that if they want to move on in the dance world, they do have that option. My creative spark and inspiration comes from a variety of aspects of life. Sometimes it's from the depths of my soul, and other times it's something I find to be funny. Other times it's just a picture. And so there's so much about dance is that it's a body, and it's pictures and drawings and everything all combined into one. Outside the studio, I I'm actually a hot mess. Like I obsess and worry about things. I feel very confident. I feel very awkward publicly. Like it's odd because I can run a class and feel like I'm just in control. And then if I walk into a room of strangers, I feel like I don't belong. But I pray a lot, and that helps. It's my way of knowing that there is something bigger going on, and that I have help in getting over all these feelings. I'm a mother of five. I have four bonus children and one significant extra, and four grandchildren, a dog, a husband of 38 years. I like to hike. I like to throw the frisbee and play with my dog. I like to kayak. I like to go to new places, but I have to be active. I can't sit. That's just not in the cards. I'm a certified personal trainer and a nationally board certified health and wellness coach, nutrition coach. So I like helping people be a better version of where they are now, hit their goals, and leave behind all their barriers. I think the biggest challenge I have as a dance teacher is my age. I'm much older than the other teachers. I'm much older than the students. I'm older than most of the parents, and it can be intimidating. We can look at age; it's such a negative, and all the things that we're not anymore. And I grew up in a different world when they don't understand. And I'm trying to understand their world and differences. When I was young, we didn't have videos of dance. Video cameras were so rare. I rarely saw footage. It was amazing when I got to see Baryshnikov on screen. That was epic. But what we did have was still pictures of those dancers that we wanted to aspire to be like. And I took a lot of time looking at the photos and placing my hands and my head perfectly in the positions. Today they have so much that they're overwhelmed, and they don't take time for the little things. I think that I wish more people knew that I struggle. I probably had ADHD my whole life. I never feel good enough. But I get up there and I do it anyway. I always feel like my choreography could have been better. I feel like I should have worked harder. But in the end, I'm continually challenging myself. Doing that solo that I did last year for the first time, it was terrifying. I'm working with an aging body, and it took a step back for me to say, this is not about pride, okay? You are not a prima ballerina. You are a person who loves dance and has something to say that, if you work hard, and you give it your all, kudos to you. You keep doing with what you have.
I think everybody saw that last year.
I wish people could see how well the staff gets along, how we can interact with each other, get ideas from each other, collaborate with each other, yet respect each other at the same time. I haven't heard any backbiting. I don't know, maybe behind my back. I'm sure they all say I'm a weirdo, but that's okay. I'm the first one that would say, yeah, absolutely. And that enhances what your kids are learning. Because if we can work together and say, hey, this is what's happening in jazz, this is what's happening in team, and then we can say, oh, but in ballet, when I really nail them down on it, it is working better. What I feel most important about the legacy community is, well, it's a community. I'm someone who moved 15 times in my first 15 years of marriage. And I'm not talking about from one apartment to the next and across the street and down the road. I'm talking state to state, having nobody around and just always feeling like you had to manage everything on your own. And so I like having a community that I can laugh with, that I can collaborate with, and that we can together impact your child more fully. Wow. The future of legacy, it's already been a journey. All 4 of my 5 children danced here. The last 3 danced on the team. So I have memories of watching them grow. I have memories of watching them teach. 2 of my grandchildren have danced in the summer camp. And so for me, it has like that personal, I've been able to share this with my whole family and watch it grow. Now, when they're not a part of it, in a way, each child has become kind of a child that I can watch them grow. Through us being able to work together, we can grow together. And I guarantee every one of the teachers here gives 100%. When I was growing up, I had the mindset at the time was kind of, if you had talent, somebody would notice you. If you didn't have talent, you just weren't that good at it. And that was like school, dance, anything. And that was actually, from my family. And through my studies, I have learned that that's not true. Talent's great. It's great. I have kids that can turn really well. I have others that are really strong and they can jump. But it's what you put in it. And when it's something you love, it's no big deal to practice a little more. So it's that I want to instill in them a growth mindset. So just because somebody turns better than you, it doesn't mean you aren't and can't be a good turner and that you shouldn't try. And the other thing I would say is know your priorities. Like that's what I would want to instill on the kids. Know what comes first. For me, it is my prayer life, that ability to know that everything I'm doing is for future generations.
That's it. That's all I have. Nailed it.
That was awesome.